Mr. Collins, I had several parents in my office today, and I thought I'd talk about a couple of the meetings that I had. And had a father there talking about his son Gabe. He had a T-shirt on with H4G, stands for Hope for Gabe. And I listened to him talk about his son and the life-threatening disease that his son has and the threat that his son is under. The threat that his son is under because of a U.S. pharmaceutical manufacturer named Marathon. I'd like to read part of an email that I have from him. Hope you're well. Just want to let you know that my son Gabe takes a drug called Delflazicort. He has since he was 5 years old. He is now 11. We currently pay $116 for a 3-month supply of a 15 milligram dose for Delflazicort. We're getting this drug from Europe as it was not available here in the United States and have had no access with problems to date. Now, many of you heard about this story. The FDA approved the same drug for sale in the United States. What did the drug manufacturer do with the price of it? Well, Marathon took the price from $116 a quarter to approximately $87,000 a year. Now, this is what's happening. Drugs that are available everywhere else in the world, it's not that they're being developed with extensive research and expensive research in our country. People are simply buying the right to sell the drug in the United States. And as soon as approved and available in the U.S. marketplace, it's no longer legal for people to import that drug from Europe. Marathon priced the drug at $89,000 per year. Reading again from his email in bold letters, the same drug we are getting today from Europe for $450 per year with an exclamation point, the exact same drug. We need your help here. The Dothan community needs your help, and specifically Gabe needs your help. As I sit here and look at the American flag, you know there is no other country in the world that allows their citizens to be treated like this. None. And I'm embarrassed that this Congress hasn't done anything about this abuse of the to the American citizens from the pharmaceutical and the PBM industry. I know our president, and I'm glad that we have a president with the courage and the boldness that our president has had the executives to the White House. I would suggest that a good meeting also would be to have the parents, have the father of Gabe, have the mother of Gabe come to the White House. Sit down in the same room with the TVs on with the executives from those companies that are cheating these people. Let's let the executives explain on TV in front of the parents, in front of the child who needs that life-saving drug, why it costs $450 in another country but should cost $87,000 in America. Another group of parents that was in my office today was there representing juvenile diabetes. Well, I'll tell you, I had a heart-wrenching discussion with a mother in my office in Warner Robins about her daughter, insulin dependent. She's got to have it or she dies. This mother had a job actually in another country and talked about what she paid in another country to receive that drug, the same drug, insulin, for her child, a fraction of what it cost in America. I think it would be great for our president to have that mother and that daughter, or the mother that was in my office today talking about her daughter, come and sit down at the White House, and maybe the president of Eli Lilly could come and sit down, and maybe we could put the TV on, the cameras on, so everybody in America could see the CEO explain why insulin, which has been around for decades, costs as much in this country as it does when it doesn't cost anywhere near that in any other country. Something's got to give. Something's got to give, and the American families have given enough. So I'm hopeful that we'll move sooner rather than later. American families can't take it anymore. A drug that costs $450 that can be imported from Europe shouldn't cost $87,000 in America. On top of the issues with what's happening with the manufacturers, we've got the issue with the PBMs. Why shouldn't you know what the PBMs are getting in a kickback? Everywhere else you go, you get a price sticker. You know what the rebates are when you go to your local car dealer. They're readily advertised. Why shouldn't you know as the American citizen? My friend Mr. Collins and I have been working on it for years. We worked on it back in the state legislature, and in fact, we passed a bill back in, I think it was 1987 was the first Transparency Act that we passed in the state legislature in Georgia. And I hope that governors and members of the state legislatures will go back and address this issue as well. It can be done at the state level. The transparency issues can. That bill came to the House floor, and it passed 150 to nothing. Not a single Democrat, not a single Republican voted against that bill. Every single member that was there that day voted for the bill. Mr. Chairman, we know something's got to be done. I just hope that we take action sooner rather than later. And I would just like to make one last request. Mr. President, I hope you'll invite these parents and their children to the White House. I hope you'll invite the CEOs of these companies to come and sit down at the same table. And I hope you'll even invite the press to come and publicize the meeting. With that, Mr. Collins, I'd like to yield the remainder of the time and say thank you so much for standing up for the American citizens. I'm honored to be a friend of yours, and thank you for allowing me to be in the fight.
Well, Representative Scott,